Hello everybody, today you join us in the fodder beet field, as you can see. Hopefully you can see behind me. What we're going to do today, we're going to do our kind of second update throughout the growing season of the fodder beet. So if you haven't seen it, we did an update end of June and the beet was drilled at the end of April. So we drilled it, we come back 2 months later and we did like a first update, which you can go and watch if you need to, if you haven't seen it. We're 2 months on from that now, so we are at the 5th of September today. So this has now been in the field for 4 months, and where we are, hopefully we will be looking to harvest this in another 2 months time from now. So from around about middle of October we'll start thinking about it, depending on how the weather's set. But kind of middle of October towards the start of November is when we usually harvest, depending on the weather. If it looks like it's going to come in wet, we will go a little bit early, but we don't want to go too early. Right, so as you can see, we've got a nice dark green colour all over. There's a few weeds. So if you saw the first update of the end of June, we saw that what a lovely clean crop it was. We could see the soil. The rows hadn't quite met yet on the beet, but they were not too long afterwards, and it was quite clean. Unfortunately, since then we have had a few weeds come up through, which you've just seen, and you can see behind, but they're not as bad as they look. There's only one or two dotted about, but because we're quite a low level here, and the field is slightly rising up away from us, it does look weedier than it is. So I have flown the drone over the crop twice so far this year. I did it once a few weeks ago, and I'll put that footage in now. And I've also gone over it earlier on today, so I'll put that in now, and you can hopefully see the difference between the two dates. So hopefully you're all dying to know what is underneath, what have we grown so far in the 4 months. So if we take a look, this is where we're to at the moment. That is a nice sized beet. Let's see if we can pull him out. Just knock the dirt. So that's not bad going for 4 months, for 4 months growth. So what we will do when we come to harvest, we will take the leaf off, and the harvester removes the leaf and leaves it in the field, and we just take the root. So what we'll do, we'll just cut the leaf off as a rough. So when we harvest it, the harvester actually takes a little bit more leaf off than that and just slightly takes a crown off the root. But that's easily a couple of kilos. It's as much as I can hold on to with one hand. That's a nice sized root for 4 months growth. That's good going. So in case you haven't seen the previous updates, this field, it was grass before, grass for a few years. We sprayed it off, we spread muck and slurry on it, we ploughed it over the Easter weekend, and we drilled it in late April. Since drilling it, it has been sprayed once with the herbicide to take the weeds out, to take the majority of the weeds out. And in the first update it was nice and clean, but it has come just a little bit weedy since then. But it's not enough to cause a problem. It's not as much as it looks. As you saw on the drone footage, from the air it's not as bad as it looks from the ground looking up at it. So this has received no fertilizer, no artificial fertilizer. And as you can see, and you've seen the size of the roots we've got, and the leaves are nice now. They were a little bit patchy earlier on, but now later in the season the leaves are all a nice dark, lovely dark, rich colour, just from all that natural organic matter fertilizer. The reason we don't put any nitrogen on is it doesn't need it. It's grown all this leaf just as it, you know, just from what we put on earlier. If you put nitrogen on, it just makes it makes leaf. Nitrogen doesn't grow roots. Nitrogen just feeds the leaves, and all we get then is a lot of very tall, very lush leaves and not enough root underneath. So it's not worth it. We don't do it. We did it once, and it just didn't pay off, so we haven't done it since. So I'm just going through the crop now just to find something I want to show you. One of the problems with fodder beet, and breeders are trying to breed it out, and to a certain extent they are succeeding, but something that fodder beet does, or any beet will do, occasionally you'll get one of these plants. So this here is what we call a bolter. It's gone to seed, it's bolted up to seed, which it shouldn't do in its first year. The beet plant is what we call a biannual plant, so you will drill it 1 year, it grows for 2 years, you know, over winters, it grows for the following year, and its second season is when it sends up this flowering, seeding head. So it's kind of like, it's a 2-year crop. But occasionally, I'm not sure why it does it, it's just a genetic thing. You get the occasional beet that will run to seed in its first year. And there's another one just there. It's just not too far away actually, but you can't see many, so it's not a problem. But what we find underneath these bolted plants, it's very, very woody. The stalk gets sent up. As long as it's not too dark in here, we can see there is no beet underneath it. It's got no root, so that's not gonna. There's nothing to harvest under this one. It's got a big tap root. I can't pull it out. I can't pull it out one-handed. Let's have a see how we get on. Let's go for a bit of two-handed action. Oh, you don't want to come out. Right, so after a bit of a struggle, this is what we've got out. This is what's under a bolter plant. So you can see all the growth it's put on, all its seed heads it's sent up, and there's just a very small root on it. You can see the difference in the root we showed earlier to this one. It's much smaller. It's got all these little roots coming off, which is why we struggle to pull it out, and it's also got a lot of little fine roots that's holding the soil, which the proper root didn't have. So that would just, you know, that's just kind of going to bung the machine up, all this tough woody stuff. So fortunately there's not many here, it's just a couple I can see. There will be more of these. There will be more of these throughout the crop that we haven't found, but we'll, if I see them when we're harvesting, we'll pull them out rather than let them go through the machine. But if we don't see them, then you know, it is what it is. So I'll just take this one out and put it on the edge, just so that we don't pick it up. We don't as long as I don't fall over and break my neck, and just leave that one there. Right, so what we're going to do is we are feeding the cows a little bit of silage now because we've had quite a few calves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and see if there's a cow in the feeder passage, and we'll see if she wants to eat this fodder bit we've pulled. So just while we're off to find a cow, I have just got this new toy which the camera is mounted to. I'm not sure if it's going to make a difference or not yet. Hopefully you're going to get a bit less scratchy while I'm holding the camera. Hopefully as I move about. It's a gimbal to hold the camera steady while I'm walking about, so hopefully with the old, you know, just holding the camera in my hand doing this, it will be shaking and wobbling all over the place. Hopefully you should be getting a fairly steady picture if it's doing its thing. So we'll see when it comes out. And we've got no cows eating their tea. That's not good. We'll go and find another cow and feed it to. Right, so this is Rosie. She's going to be our guinea pig of testing the first fodder beet of the season. That tasty? You want a bit? There you go. Yeah, Rosie. Nom nom. Nom nom nom. Nom nom. That good? Actually went and weighed that beet. We just pulled up, and it's 3.5 kilos. So my 2 was a little bit out. Bit of rain this year, but not masses. We've had some hot weather. We've grown big, heavy beet in 4 months. So another 6 weeks, 2 months before harvest, we should be on for a good crop. So Rosie's going to say thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.